At the Sprott Natural Resource Symposium, we're with Peter Grosskopf, CEO of Sprott Inc. Peter, thank you for joining us for the interview.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
Yeah, so for the audience, can you tell us your background in the industry and how long your career has been?
I started almost exactly 30 years ago, and I've always been in the financial services business. I've always been associated with commodities and resource investments, first as a banker and then the last 7 years as an asset manager.
Great, great. I want to go into what you said this morning. You said that the criticism lately has been that gold isn't a currency. What's your thought on that?
Well, this is one of the common criticisms of gold, and quite frankly, I think its track record speaks for itself. It is in fact a currency. It's traded within the volumes of the top 5 or 6 currency pairs globally, and so daily, yearly, on any sort of basis, long-term, short-term, gold is just as liquid as many of the major currency pairs. And secondly, of course, it's a store of value, and its track record again on that side is indisputable. It has for 10, 12, 15 years served as a better store of value than most currencies.
Right. And you said also that we're at the tipping point for gold. Why do you say that, and how can investors be ahead of that curve?
Sure. Well, what we find is that gold was a bit of a niche asset. It was held by some people. You either believed in it philosophically or you didn't. But I think more and more so, because of its liquidity and because of its correlation effects in a portfolio, mainstream investors are adding it as a diversified asset in their portfolios at whatever percentage they're comfortable with, 1, 3, 5%. So what we find is that both retail clients of ours and institutional clients are coming to the sector for the first time. It's becoming a mainstream asset.
Gotcha. And you also mentioned the rise of cryptos. So educate us a little bit on what that is and what you mean by that.
Well, that's the big story this year, right? It's these cryptocurrencies that are backed by very sophisticated blockchain technology. They are secure ways of transferring value. They're independently traded, and their value is independently determined, and that's why the customers like them. So it's a free market, and people have been very interested in joining some of those cryptos, and Bitcoin in particular is leading that pack.
Right, and is Sprott doing anything to be offering your clients something with that?
Yeah, in fact we are. We believe that gold is a far better store of value than some of these cryptocurrencies. And the underlying technology, the blockchain itself, can be applied to gold, and it will be applied to gold. So there's several groups globally that are working on that, including ourselves. The leading efforts include those by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and we're partnered with a group called IEX in the States to bring a digital gold type of currency to our client base and to the world.
Gotcha. Now, Rick Rule always says this. He says, if you're not a contrarian in natural resource investing, you're going to be a victim.
Right.
Do you agree with that? Why or not?
I do agree with that. By definition, resource markets are volatile. They are determined entirely by supply and demand, which changes annually. And people get nervous, people get worried, so they pile out and they pile in. And if you're not trading against those trends, you have no chance to be successful. So I totally agree.
Right. Well, Peter, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thanks, Rachel.
To watch more videos from the conference, make sure you visit smallcappower.com and watch other videos.